Howdy folks, Timber Drifter here. Sampling a blend I'm working on. It's some blending tobacco I picked up from Pipes and Cigars International, and or Cigars International, I guess, in Hamburg, PA. Been smoking on it for about 20 minutes. Anyway, they had a rack full of blending tobaccos. Pretty damn cheap. $2 an ounce for Latakia. Smells pretty good too. They were pre-bag marked, so $1.50 an ounce for 4 ounces of, what are they calling it? Yellow Virginia. It's pretty chunky. It looks and smells similar to the Virginia that's in Haunted Bookshop. And then $1 an ounce for 4 ounces of Izmir Ribbon Cut, which will be a Turkish tobacco. This stuff's, I like Turkish tobacco anyway, and this stuff smells great. I smoked a little bit of this just straight, and I smoked a little bit of the Virginia straight. I didn't need to smoke the Latakia. I can tell it's a little bit of a sweeter Latakia, so the Virginia is smoked a little hot for me, but it tasted all right. And the Turkish, nice kind of minerally, herby, kind of sweet, dry, with a little bitterness. Really nice. I could almost smoke this by itself. It needs a little something. So I mixed 2 parts of the Yellow Virginia to 2 parts of the Turkish to 1 part, maybe a little less than 1 part of the Latakia. And that's what I've got in the bowl here. And of course, I just did this an hour ago, so it's not really melded yet. I just put it in a bag and kind of rough blended it, shook it up here and there, just seeing if I got the proportions as I like them, as best as I can judge. It's pretty good. I don't have much blended up. That's about it. I'll probably smoke another bowl, or, well, I'll probably smoke the rest of that up in a couple of different pipes and see what I think. I thought I'd left this tamper at home, but it is here. I did find it. Yeah, anyway, I like it. I also picked up a couple of tins of London mixture. Dunhill London mixture for $7 a tin, which is, in my experience, a pretty good price. I've paid up to $12 a tin, or I guess it would be $13 for that. And other than some pipe cleaners, that's all I got there, which is kind of rare because usually when I visit my folks in Pennsylvania here and we go to Cigars International, I spend a couple of $100 and pick up most of what I'm going to smoke for a year. sitting in my tent in the yard, and I've got a feral cat that's poking its head in the door, but every time I reach for the phone, it takes off. So, I forgot what I was saying there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, anyway, usually when I go to Cigars International, I buy pretty much a year's worth of tobacco and old favorites and tins I want to try, but the budget does not allow. I really like Yuengling. Always drink it when I'm visiting here, probably for the last time, since my folks are moving, and that's the reason that I'm out here in the tent. The house is becoming increasingly more packed with boxes, and less room in there, and I'm getting a little claustrophobic. So, and just I'm not used to sleeping in a house with TVs going and refrigerator noise running and lights and plumbing, and it's been a few years since I've spent any time in that kind of environment, so I can't sleep. So we were cleaning out the basement, found a couple of tents. This one, little small dome tent, had all the parts, so it's in the yard. And until the pack of feral cats destroys it, I'll probably sleep out here. There's some tame cats and some feral cats and some half-tame feral cats living here. Mom's been catching them and having them spayed and neutered and feeding them, and they like climbing on the tent. Those are claw holes. Fortunately, this tent has a rain fly, and they're climbing on the tent under the rain fly, so I hear them in here doing that when I'm sleeping and wake up and knock them off the tent. I almost get an idea what it would be like sleeping in where there's leopards and things like that, except these are small enough to handle. It'd take a pack of them to take me out. It gets a little hot. Not bad, but just a little warm. Yeah, I'll keep working on that. Anyway, so yeah, budget's pretty low this year, so not resupplying on tobacco. That's why I bought that stuff. I think I spent about $14 and got, quite a lot of tobacco, 10 ounces. That's all decent tobacco. Should be able to blend something out of that. The other thing I picked up, we stopped at Cabela's. I always want to go in there and look at stuff, and picked up a Mora knife. I haven't had one of these in a long time. This is the carbon steel version. So I haven't had one of these since the last generation, when the handles were solid plastic and kind of narrow here with a larger guard, kind of a wide butt, and they didn't hold in the sheath nearly so positively. I think the clip was about the same though. So $20 what this cost, and I thought that was well worth it for a nice carbon steel Mora with a sort of a rubberized handle. So this is probably be my permanent backup knife that rides in the bottom of my backpack from now on, I imagine, because you guys watch this channel very long. You've seen my my version of the bushcraft knife. It's roughly the same size, same thickness. And this is the main one that I use. And the handle is thicker on mine, which means I don't get any hot spots. Hot spots or blisters when carving with this long term. I like the point better. I don't use a knife to skin things, and I rarely need a belly to a blade. So that shape fits me better, works better for me, but this is enough. This is good too. So yeah, this will probably be the new permanent backup knife. But for now I'm carrying it. I'm going to use it a bit, make sure it's worth keeping. And since the house is being packed up and I'm helping move stuff and throw stuff away, I'm coming across a lot of old stuff I haven't seen for a lot of years. When I moved out, I left more stuff here than I thought. Something I just found today that I haven't seen for several years is a knife I made back in high school, although the sheath has gone missing. This is from an industrial bandsaw blade. It was my first attempt at heat treating anything. It came out alright. Pretty nice knife. The grip is a little small for my hand these days. My hands have grown a little bit. Back then it was just right. Now it's a little small, but yeah, a badass looking knife in it. The blade's pretty stiff. It's not flexible. I think I probably gave this to my dad, so I'll see if he wants to keep it. If not, I'll take it home. Yeah, finding neat old stuff. Another thing I found that I really appreciated finding, I haven't seen this probably since, I don't know for sure, but over 10 years. I moved out of my folks' place more than 10 years ago, but it seems like I bought this after that. Can't remember clearly. Anyway, Kershaw Silver Spur 2. This is kind of an ideal small pocket knife. I usually carry one large pocket knife and one small pocket knife. Back when I was carrying this, I was carrying a Cold Steel Voyager clip point, 4-inch blade, and this, and it was a great combination. This has always been, since I've had this knife, my ideal of a small pocket knife. It really works quite well. It's light and it's got style, you know. Look at that thing, it's got style. So I haven't seen this knife in anywhere between 10 and 13 years, and they don't make them anymore, so I've not been able to acquire another one. I've had a few nice little pocket knives over the years. It's got to be thin and relatively small. This is what I've been carrying since Christmas. Found this in a Walmart parking lot. It's a Kershaw. Actually a nice little knife. Able to grip the blade, or grip the knife several different ways. It's handy, it holds an edge, it's sturdy. It's got a cap lifter. And it's a solid, quite a solid liner lock. However, I think I'm probably going to switch back to this one. I've really missed this knife. Another thing I found and fixed up is my old machete. One of my mom's friends that went traveling in Central America brought this back. My folks gave it to me. when I was pretty young. It says Belize on there. It's kind of an impractical leather sheath, but it looks cool. It's quite a flimsy blade. It's not good for chopping hardwood, and somebody had chopped some hardwood with it, or something very hard, and caused the edge to be rippled like this. And also the blade was bent somewhere around in here, and it kind of went off at an angle. So I spent about a half an hour with a ball peen hammer and a little anvil and straightened it all back out. You can't do that with some machetes. Some of them are too hard, some of them are too soft. This one's right in between, and I was able to fix it, and it actually came out okay. There's just a few little ripples here and there, but I didn't want to overexpand the steel too much. So went from being a neat looking piece of junk to being a functional tool again. So there's just a few of the things I've come across. Every time I relight this blend, it gets a little better, a little sweeter. I think I might have the right ratio. It just needs to be packed in a jar and aged for a little while, not too long. We had a lot of burley, different kinds of burley sitting there too. But like I say, budget was a little limited, so who knows, maybe before we take off we can run back over there and pick some of that up. But for now, I'm sitting in my tent at Sprinkling, enjoying a beer and a good bowl of tobacco. Right out in the yard. My folks live in the countryside, so there's no neighbors close by listening in on the conversation. There we go. But I almost bought the newer one that everybody's got. All the social media bushcrafters are picking up. And Joshua in the Woods had asked me about one, I don't know, some months ago. I forget what it's called. For some reason the word Eldridge just popped in my mind. I don't think that's right. It's the little short one. I think the blade's about that long, 2 inches or so, and it's got a severe round point to it with 2 different grinds. I almost bought one of those, but they were $25 and $38 for the blue, I think. $25 for the black, so that knife's not really useful to me. Although they look cool, and there's a highway right down there, several hundred yards away. Big diesels are driving by. Anyway, those knives they look cool. They look neat. I'm tempted to buy one and try it out, but limited budget, I figured I'd buy something that's actually useful to me, that I know is useful to me, and I know is going to stand up. So, new backup knife. I don't mean backup to a weapon. I mean backup in case my main knife goes missing or breaks. Never like to have just one good knife with me. Alright. Rainy day in the tent, somewhere in eastern PA. Drinking beer and smoking a pipe, playing with sharp objects. Also picked up a 10 of that about a week ago. Man, I love that stuff. As a last thought, love this stuff. Haven't had any for a couple of years. That 10 is from 2013, so it's got some age on it. Alright. Y'all take care. Go outside.